I want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you for joining me at abrotherspeaks.com, A Brother Speaks podcast, and A Brother Speaks at YouTube. Join me. We have a lot going on. We're getting our movement going. We got brothers thinking. We got brothers talking. We got brothers being aware. Join us at abrotherspeaks.com. There you can donate. There you can contribute. There you can buy our ebooks. You can help us out with what we're trying to do. We're creating change. We're getting the brothers and sisters and we're making change. Join us at abrotherspeaks.com. Our essay for today is we're going to be dropping essays and topics. I'm going to be delivering things from my iPad, delivering things from my phone. I'm going to just be dropping things on you, asking you questions. What is going on? What are we doing? Our question for the day is, do we want to be king again? Have you ever thought about being king again? I mean, have we sat down and laid out a plan and said, what will it take for us to be king again? I keep circling around this question because I ask as a black man, either we say we have a purpose and a plan, or hell, I guess we just be happy with having a job and forgetting about all this black stuff because we're all the same and everything is cool, right? So I ask the question again, have you ever thought about being king again? If so, what is the plan and what is the timeline for this completion of this plan? You see, we need to ask these questions as one day our children will ask us, Father, Mother, who are we? What will we say? Baby, we're all Americans. That idea in itself boggles my mind. For me to tell that to my children, it just boggles my mind. So I ask you, at some point, do we say, I want my stuff back? And what's the plan to get it? Or do we just say, to hell with it and everything's cool? I love the way things are. You see, I know many of us think this, many of us believe this, and some people say, hey, everything right now is great. What more do we have to ask for? Surely, surely, to think that way surely shows defeat to our ancestors. Surely our ancestors will be defeated once we believe in something like that. When I read books and listen to the stories of Marcus Garvey and his UNIA, as he started the Back to Africa movement, I asked, what happened to that thought and what happened to those people? Let's talk about a man named Marcus Garvey. A black man from the West Indies was the first to forcefully speak about the idea of African nationalism, of black people returning to Africa, the continent of their ancestors, or in order to build a great nation of their own. His writings and ideas would inspire many leaders of the civil rights movement during the second half of the 20th century. Garvey formed the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Communities League, UNIA, ACL. These organizations were intended to work for the general upliftment of the Negro people of the world and will become the centerpiece for his life's work. Garvey, along with the American members of clergy, Archbishop George A. McGuire, formed the African Orthodox Church. This was in accordance with one of his basic principles, for he believed that each race must see God through his own racial eyes. The Black Christ and the Black Madonna were officially announced at the UNIA Convention of 1924. The Garvey movement was the greatest international movement of African people in modern times. At its peak, from 1922 to 1924, the movement counted more than 8 million followers. The youngest members of the movement were taken in at 5 years old. And as they grew older, they graduated to the section of older children. Garvey emphasized the belief in one God, the God of Africa, who should be visualized through black eyes. He preached to black people to become familiar with their ancient history and their rich cultural heritage. He called for black pride in the black race. For example, he made black dolls for black people. His was the first voice to clearly demand black power. It was he who said, a race without authority and power is a race without respect. Where are these black people today? Am I saying, hey, we all need to go back to Africa? No. Am I asking, though, what is the plan? If we don't go back to Africa, do we become something of a nation here? Do we create our own NASA here? Maybe we create an educational program for our people here. Maybe we start another economical Senator, like we talked about in the previous podcast, remembering Black Wall Street. Do we believe someone would do it for us? Maybe we think that if they find something in space, they'll share it with us. Hell, they've been finding things here and keeping it a secret. So what do you think they'll do when they find something in space? Not only that, the secrets that they are finding are yours. We have to keep it real. We have to tell the truth. The pyramids are ours. Everything they find in and around it belong to us. They said the faces on Mars were like the faces on the pyramids. Think about it, brothers and sisters. Think about it. At some point, you have to do something. At some point, you have to stop playing and want to do something for yourself. If you're not motivated, if you can't do it for yourself, then at least want it and do it for the next generation to come. I must say, as Garvey said, a race without authority and power is a race without respect. Will we ever want or have true respect? So I ask you, brothers, I ask you, sisters, what is the plan? Not this talk about it stuff, not this think about it stuff, not this march on it stuff, but brothers and sisters, what is the plan? And what is the timeline to accomplish this plan? Do you think about ever being king again? Visit us on therbrotherspeaks.com. Join us at the Brother Speaks podcast. Watch us at the Brother Speaks at YouTube. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Join us at brotherspeaks.com.